retail sales value drops 2.3% in April, marking the 14th consecutive month of decline. A tunnel toll review is underway, which may see tolls at Shing and Aberdeen Tunnel adjusted after being frozen for years. And despite official confirmation that the water is safe to drink, residents at the Queens Hill estate are still not happy about the black particles they found in the water. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Jeremy Zhu. Retail sales in April saw a slimmer decline from a year ago, yet missing forecast. The total value of sales shrank to $28.9 billion, with the percentage change slimming down to 2.3% from a 3.5% drop in March, marking the 14th consecutive month of declines. The figure was expected to rise 3%. A government spokesman noted retail sales performance had been stabilizing in recent months. Looking ahead, the government's proactive promotion of tourism and mega events will help stimulate the consumption market, while the increase in employment earnings and sustained steady growth of the mainland economy will also bolster consumption sentiment, providing support to the retail sector. Though ongoing changes in consumption patterns and competition among businesses amid the uncertain macroeconomic environment will still pose challenges, the spokesman added. Despite the surge in exports and inbound visitors, Finance Chief Paul Chen revealed that the government has kept its economic forecast for the year unchanged as it foresees trade uncertainties. Evelyn Bai reports.
During a Legislative Council panel meeting, Chen noted that the city's economy had a solid start in the second quarter, with goods exports and inbound tourism figures rising 14.7% and 13%, respectively, in April. Despite these positive indicators, Chen maintained the forecast for gross domestic product growth at the 2 to 3% range. This conservative estimate is largely due to the unstable outlook for foreign trade, given the significant variability in the United States government's policy measures. Therefore, it is worth observing for a while, Chen explained. He also noted recent improvements in the stock and property markets, which have encouraged people to dine out, thereby reversing previously sluggish consumption trends. The finance chief also estimates that U.S. interest rate cuts may be delayed beyond expectations. However, with continued capital inflows into Hong Kong, local interest rates are likely to decline further, which will help stabilize the property markets. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
The Transport and Logistics Bureau has announced a comprehensive review of tunnel tolls following the full implementation of HK toll across all government toll tunnels. The central Kowloon route, set to open by year-end, may introduce charges, while long-frozen fees at Shing tunnels and Aberdeen Tunnel could also see adjustments. Scarlett Chan reports.
Just as drivers in the city are starting to enjoy reduced tunnel fees, overall after-time varying tolling is now in place at all cross-harbour tunnels and Thailand Tunnel. Authorities say it is time to reassess pricing across the network, with a proposal due before the Legislative Council later this month. Transport Secretary Mabel Chan confirmed that some tunnels like Aberdeen Tunnel and Shing Tunnel, where tolls have remained unchanged for years, are priority candidates for revision. She added that upcoming infrastructure, including the central Kowloon route, may adopt tolls to balance traffic management with cost recovery. However, lawmaker Michael Luke accused the government of reneging on commitments, noting the toll plans were not mentioned during funding approval. A nominal $3 to $5 charge achieves nothing, but the $20 toll would deter usage, he argued, warning drivers may revert to congested surface roads. Currently, both Shing and Aberdeen tunnels maintain Hong Kong's lowest flat rate of $5 per trip, a price tag untouched for over 3 decades. Scarlett Chan, Cable News.
The first working day after implementing time-varying tolls at the Thailand Tunnel through the HK e-toll system saw smooth peak-hour traffic, gaining praise from Transport Chief Mabel Chan, who inspected the morning traffic conditions in person. Evelyn Bai reports.
The Kowloon-bound of Thailand Tunnel braved its first rush time since the handover at around 7:15 a.m., with many commuters waiting for buses to go to work and school. The traffic remained fluid despite seeing cars coming one after another. This man said he left home 15 minutes earlier today because the lower tolls might cause higher traffic flow. This woman said she gave herself extra time for commuting, but thought it might not be necessary as railways can divert the traffic. During normal hours, private car drivers pay only $18 for using the tunnel, while entering peak hours, which is from 7:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. and from 5:15 p.m. to 7 p.m., the toll gradually increases by $2 every 2 minutes, from $18 until reaching the peak time slot of $45. Taxi and commercial vehicles, such as goods vehicles and buses, will be charged a flat rate of $28 and $43 respectively. Secretary for Transport and Logistics Mabel Chan noted that the traffic volume increased by around 40%, in line with the government's expectations. Our goal is to ease traffic on Tuen Mun Road by around 5% during peak hours, Chan emphasized. Addressing public appeals for lower bus fares after the toll for buses has dropped to $43, Chan clarified that the Transport Department had already taken the tunnel toll reduction into account when reviewing past applications for fare increases by bus companies. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
The water quality issue at Queen's Hill Estate is up in the air after the weekend, with residents opting to buy large bottled water for drinking and cooking. Director of Water Supplies Roger Wong said a thorough investigation is underway, reiterating that the water is safe to drink. Evelyn Bai has more details.
While some residents continue to buy bottled water from supermarkets and refuse to use tap water, the Water Supplies Department has meanwhile set up temporary water tanks at every building of the Fanling Public Housing Estate to provide water supply. Although the WSD has confirmed that water quality meets safety standards, concerns remain high, especially among families with young children. This woman with 2 kids said she continues to see black sediment coming through filtration from her taps this morning, even after running the water for several minutes. If my kids cannot eat food cooked at home and keep on eating takeout, their health will be affected, she said worriedly. This resident said she also saw stone-sized particles in water the night before, and it was oily. Taking to the airwaves, Water Supplies Chief Roger Wong said the problem was resolved after their test showed no signs of black particles. We are working with the housing authority to trace the origin, Wong added. He reiterated that these sediments would not pose any health risks as lab results confirm the water is safe, suggesting residents to run their taps for 2 minutes before use to flush out any remaining particles. Since it opened in 2021, residents at Queen's Hill Estate have reported several water quality issues. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Newly appointed director of the Liaison office in Hong Kong, Zhou Ji, has met with Chief Executive John Lee for the second time in just 3 days. Lee visited the Liaison office today in a return meeting with Zhou, who stressed that the chief executive and Hong Kong government are not only the city's leaders but also bear primary responsibility for its governance. Zhou pledged to perform his duties in accordance with the law, offering full support to ensure the city's continued development. He vowed that his office would fully and faithfully implement the one country, two systems principle and uphold the policy of patriots administering Hong Kong. In response, Li said the two leaders shared a common vision to actively steer the SAR from stability to prosperity. Zhou, who was appointed last Friday, had first met Li at Government House the following day. China rejected U.S. groundless accusations that Beijing had violated the consensus reached in Geneva trade talks, while U.S. officials said the two heads of state are expected to talk soon and iron out the dispute. Anna Chen has more details.
In response to U.S. President Donald Trump's remarks that China had breached a bilateral deal reached last month in Geneva to roll back tariffs, the Chinese Ministry of Commerce said Beijing had implemented and actively upheld the consensus, while Washington had introduced multiple discriminatory restrictive measures against China. Those measures included issuing guidance on AI chip export controls, halting sales of chip design software to China, and revoking visas for Chinese students. The U.S. government has unilaterally and repeatedly provoked new economic and trade frictions, exacerbating uncertainty and instability in bilateral economic and trade relations, the ministry said in a statement. It also urged Trump's administration to work with China in the same direction, immediately correct its wrong practices. If the U.S. side insists on going the wrong way and continues to harm China's interest, China will resolutely take forceful measures to safeguard its legitimate rights and interests. Meanwhile, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent acknowledged Beijing is withholding critical minerals, which are supposed to be released according to the Geneva Agreement. But he is confident the trade dispute will be ironed out, as Trump will speak with President Xi Jinping soon. Anna Chan, Cable News.
A man yelling "Free Palestine" attacked a pro-Israel crowd with firebombs in Colorado, United States, injuring at least 8 people. The suspect was detained and the FBI is investigating the act of terror. Anna Chen reports.
Videos from bystanders showed the chaotic scene of the attack in Boulder, Colorado, where smoke was billowing and people were lying on the ground. One woman was severely burnt.
We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing.
The shirtless suspect was seen holding 2 bottles and quarreling with the crowd. The 45-year-old man, identified as Mohammed Sabri Solomon, was allegedly to have used a makeshift flamethrower and Molotov cocktails to set people on fire at a weekly gathering of Jewish community members supporting Israeli hostages in Gaza. Witnesses heard them yelling "Free Palestine" and "They're killers" before he was detained and taken to the hospital for treatment. The Egyptian national was believed to have acted alone. Sources said he was denied a visa to enter the United States back in 2005. The White House confirmed the suspect had illegally overstayed a tourist visa and then allowed to work by Biden's administration. The FBI is investigating the targeted act of terror, while authorities are also working to determine whether the suspect may have suffered mental health issues. Israel's foreign minister called the incident a terrible anti-Semitic terror attack targeting Jews. Amid heightened tensions in the U.S. over Israel's war in Gaza, Sunday's attack came a little over a week after the fatal shooting of 2 Israeli embassy staff members in Washington, D.C. by an attacker who also yelled "Free Palestine." Anna Chan, Cable News.
Let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day down 131 points. Top active stocks of the day: Alibaba was down 70 cents, BYD was down $7.40. Xiaomi was up 65 cents, and Meituan was down $2.30. Onto the weather now. Mainly cloudy with a few showers and thunderstorms. More showers tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 26 and 30 degrees. Light to moderate southwesterly winds. Still showery with a few thunderstorms at first on Wednesday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our news tonight. I'm Jeremy Zhu. Thank you for watching and good night.